I've never believed in fate, but I believe in what a mother will do when her child is drowning. And that Christmas Eve, my daughter Jasmine was drowning in a house that was supposed to be her home. I almost didn't go over that night. Almost. I was tired, and the drive from my place took 20 minutes, and I had wrapping to finish for my grandchildren. But something twisted in my chest around 5 in the evening. That feeling you get when your bones know something before your mind catches up. So I got in my car. When I pulled up to that house on Magnolia Street, I knew. Jasmine was standing on the porch in a thin sweater. December in Georgia doesn't play around. It was 42 degrees, and she was standing there like she was waiting for a bus, shivering so hard I could see it from 10 feet away. No coat, no shoes, just that sweater and her bare arms wrapped around herself. "What are you doing out here?" I called out before I even had the car door fully open. She turned, and the look on her face, oh God, the look on her face. It was the same look she'd had when she was 7 years old and came home from school because the other kids wouldn't let her play. Quiet devastation. "Hi, Mom," she said, and her voice was already trembling from the cold. "I didn't know you were coming." That's when I heard it. Through the open windows of that house, through my house, because let's be clear about what that was. I heard laughter. I heard glasses clinking. I heard the fireplace crackling. And I heard Wesley's mother, Diane, saying something about how the help should know better than to track mud inside. The help. She was calling my daughter the help. I walked past Jasmine and pushed open that front door. What I saw is burned into my memory like a brand. The fireplace was roaring. The tree was lit up, a tree my daughter had decorated, by the way, while Wesley's family sat and criticized her choices. There were 4 of them on that leather sofa I'd co-signed the note for, holding glasses of champagne, their faces already flushed. Wesley was sprawled across his chair, the one that cost more than my first car, and Diane was holding court like she owned the place. Which she didn't. I did. "Loretta," Wesley said, sitting up with surprise painted all over his face. "We didn't expect—" I looked at him. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. And then I turned and walked back out to where Jasmine was still shivering on the porch. Let me tell you about the deals I'd made, because this didn't start with rage. It started with love, and that was the trap. Jasmine had met Wesley 8 years earlier at a coffee shop. He was charming, the kind of charming that comes from knowing exactly what to say and never meaning any of it. He had just started his landscaping business, and he had dreams, he said. He just needed a little help to get started. My daughter was so proud of him, so eager to build a life. And when they got engaged, I thought, this is my job. I'm her mother. I help her build her dream. So I signed the paperwork. $140,000 for the down payment on this house in a nice neighborhood. I put my name on the deed as protection, just in case, I told myself. Just in case life gets hard. Then Wesley needed capital for the business, so I invested $75,000 and asked for my name on the company paperwork. Not for profit, just for security. And I co-signed the car loan for the Mercedes in the driveway because Jasmine wanted to feel like she'd made it, like she had a life to be proud of. Every penny of it was supposed to be love. But you know what happens when you give everything to someone and they treat your daughter like hired help? You realize that love isn't enough. Protection is what matters. I took her arm and guided her into the car. She was shaking, Whether from cold or shock, I couldn't tell. "Get in the back," I said to her. "Grab the blanket from my seat." "Mom, what are you—" "Don't talk right now, baby. Just trust me." I drove back into that house. Wesley was on his feet now, confused. Diane was standing up, already defensive. I didn't look at them. "Jasmine, where are the children?" I asked, though I knew. She always knew where they were. She always kept them close, safe, away from the cruelty in that room. "They're in the guest room, watching a movie." "Go get them. Pack a bag with clothes for 3 days. You have 5 minutes." Wesley's face was moving through all the colors of anger. "Loretta, what the hell is happening?" I turned to him. I looked him directly in the eye, and I said the 6 words that changed everything. "We're leaving, and we're not coming back." It took 4 minutes for Jasmine to gather my grandchildren, Mason, who was 9, and little Sophia, who was 6. They knew something was wrong. Kids always do. But they didn't ask questions. They just held their mother's hands. We left that house at 5:47 p.m. on December 24th. What happened next was methodical. I didn't do it in anger, though anger was there, underneath everything like a bass line in a song. I did it like someone checking off a to-do list, because that's what it was, protecting my daughter from a man who had taken everything I gave him and used it to cage her. The house sold in 31 days. The buyer was a family with 3 kids, people who filled it with the kind of joy it should have had from the start. Wesley contested it, of course, but my name was on the deed. My house, my rules. The Mercedes was repossessed on a Tuesday morning. I'd always kept the title. Wesley had made payments, but I owned it. When I called the dealership and told them to come get it, I felt like I was taking back something that had been stolen. The landscaping business was the part that took the longest. I didn't do anything dramatic. I simply withdrew my capital, all $75,000, and as a co-owner, I closed the company down. I didn't do it to be cruel. I did it because Wesley had borrowed another $100,000 against the company assets from a bank, and Diane had been stealing supplies to start her own side business. Without my investment, without my name on the paperwork, the whole thing collapsed like a house of cards. And it was. Just a house of cards. Diane called me 43 times in the first 2 weeks. "How could you do this?" she said. "You ruined him. He's your son-in-law. Family helps family." I never answered, not once. I'm not interested in conversations with people who leave their daughter-in-law shivering on a porch while they drink champagne by a fire. What I did instead was help Jasmine. Real help. I set her up in the guest room with the kids, got them enrolled in school, helped her enroll in community college. She always wanted to study nursing, but Wesley said it was too ambitious. Watched the kids while she worked at a grocery store deli and took 2 classes at night. Sat with her through the paperwork for the divorce, and when the lawyer asked if she was sure, when Wesley's lawyer tried to negotiate for this or that, I was right there. "Yes," I said, "she's sure." 6 months later, she had her associate degree. A year after that, her registered nursing license. She works at Grady Hospital now in oncology. She's good at it, the kind of good that comes from understanding pain and choosing to relieve it in someone else. She rebuilt her life. My grandchildren go to good schools. They have their mother's full attention now, instead of a fraction of her energy that was being stolen by a man who never deserved her. Wesley tried to rebuild the landscaping business once. Hired some guys, got some clients, but he didn't have my $75,000 to cushion him, and he didn't have my reputation in the business community. People know what he is now. People know that he locked his wife out of her own home on Christmas Eve. Word travels. I see him sometimes at the grocery store or at a restaurant across town. He looks diminished. Not physically, he's the same height and build as always, but diminished in the way that comes from knowing you overplayed your hand and lost. Sometimes I think about whether what I did was right, whether taking back my assets, whether being that ruthless, whether teaching my son-in-law that he couldn't take my daughter for granted and get away with it. I wonder if that makes me a good person or a bad one. And then I remember Jasmine on that porch, shivering, locked out of her own home, treated like she didn't belong in a life she'd built with every ounce of her energy and love. And I know exactly what I am. I'm her mother. I'm the woman who gave her life, who put her through college, who watched over her when she couldn't watch over herself. And when someone hurt her, I did what mothers do. I protected her, not with gentle words or therapy or conflict resolution. I protected her the way you protect a child who's in a burning building. You get her out, and you make sure nothing like that ever happens again. The most dangerous force in the world isn't war or fire or storm. It's a mother protecting her child. It's what we'll do, what we'll sacrifice, what we'll take back if we have to. We'll upend everything. We'll lose sleep. We'll become exactly as ruthless as the situation demands. That Christmas, I gave my daughter the greatest gift I could give her. I gave her back her life, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.